My house is kind of boring. I'm gonna add a little pop of color here because this bores me. So I'm gonna replace this painted plywood mantle with a thick piece of oak and then solid oak above that. It's also officially my first time tearing into a wall in this house. It was built in the year 1900, so that's always exciting. It's been 2 years since we lived here, so I've been putting it off as long as I could. May 15, 1931. Now, nothing in this house is level, plumb, square, straight, parallel, unsurprisingly. I built this box here, so I don't have to worry about any of that. What I'm going to do is attach all the shiplap to this box, and then everything will slide in place in one big piece. So I just roll some sheets over the table saw and miter saw to cut them down to size, and a couple of these were actually scraps from another project, so I biscuited them together to make them larger. I had these 2-foot offcuts from another project, so instead of cutting into a brand new sheet of plywood, I'm going to biscuit and glue these sheets together. I just said that. But that's it, a 3-sided plywood box that's glued and stapled together. The shiplap will then be mitered and glued in place to wrap around this box. All right, I think that's a sufficient amount of sanding. Next step is to apply the finish. For this project, I'm using Minwax's water-based color stain for a bold pop of color. Now this stain looks really good on oak, so I'm excited to see the final results. I have both the solid version and the semi-transparent version. Both of these, you get custom color mixed at the paint desk, just like a regular paint. So you just grab these cans to the Minwax section at Lowe's, bring them up to the paint counter and tell them what color you want. In this case, I'm going with Colton Blue and latte. I wasn't sure if I wanted the solid or semi-transparent variation, so I just picked up both, and then I did test pieces of each one. I ended up liking the semi-transparent better just because it shows more of the grain. The solid covers up the grain a bit more, gives you more of a solid color, if that's the look that you're going for. Now for this project in particular, I'm doing something new. It was an idea of mine of mixing the stains myself. I wasn't entirely sure if that would work until I did a test piece, and these are a couple of variations mixing the Colton Blue and the latte together. So here's how we're gonna do this. I have 14 horizontal strips on this thing, and I'm gonna mix the Colton Blue and the latte myself in very specific ratios. So it'll be Colton Blue at the top, latte at the bottom, and then a gradient in between. Now the idea behind this is supposed to mimic either the beach, where it merges from water to sand, or a sunset, where it merges from the blue sky to more of an orange color. Now as far as the mantle goes, I got the same water-based color stain in the color Silver Ash, and I also did a test with the Wood Effects, the Weathering Gray version. And I really like the deep color in that, so we're gonna go with the Wood Effects on the mantle. Now last, on top of all that, I want a protective coating, and I'm using Minwax's Soft Touch Finishing Wax to do that. So I'm gonna add this on top of the stain and the Wood Effects, and it'll create this really nice dull shine on everything that feels really good too. Pause right there, Jackman. I just found out their Soft Touch Finishing Wax has been discontinued. I must have gotten the last couple cans. It's lucky for me in this project, but for you, I suggest Minwax's Paste Finishing Wax instead. It's a similar product with very similar results. Okay, you can unpause now. Let's go. This thick white oak board is the one I'll be using to make the mantle. It's a reject piece from my buddy's cabinet shop. There's a bunch of checks in it, plus a big crack right down the middle. But with a little bit of epoxy, you'll barely even know that it was there. Just make sure you mix that thoroughly. We don't need the attitude, so I just pour the epoxy into the crack. That'll act both as a filler and as a glue to hold the whole thing together. Clamp it together and let it cure overnight, and when I'm done, you'll never even know that it was there. Now the reason I'm making these oak and poplar sandwiches is because I'm a cheating woodworker. I didn't quite have enough white oak to do the whole mantle, so instead I added these filler poplar pieces on the inside, and when the final lamination is done, you would never know. Hey, thanks for watching this build. Down in the description, you're gonna find links to all the sponsors of this build, but specifically, I'd like to mention Minwax and their wood finishes that I used for this project. For the upper section of the fireplace, I used their water-based, semi-transparent color stain tinted in Colton Blue and Latte, 2 of the 240 different colors you have to choose from. For the mantle, I used the weathered gray wood effects, and on top of both of those, I finished it off with Minwax's Soft Touch Finishing Wax. So you can find all these at the links down below, or just go to your local Lowe's store, find the Minwax section in the paint department, and pick some up for yourself for your next project. It's a very unique line of products, which translates directly into a very unique and bold result in your projects. This is the first of many home renovation projects for this new home. It's an old home, new to us. But we have major plans for it, so keep an eye out because I'll be incorporating those projects into videos like this one for the foreseeable future, along with my regular content. Make sure you follow me on all of the social medias for behind the scenes content of projects just like this one. Also, if you happen to be looking for a way to support me, think about buying a set of plans or templates on my website. It's a little bit that goes a long way to allow me to continue making high effort and high quality content like this video. Hopefully. Lots of new videos coming up, including renovating not the house, but this barn and other big stuff. Finally varnished the walls. Did you notice that? All the work I put into stuff, nobody ever appreciates it.